teenager, I was contemplating what project I will be working with him, which is the important customer that he's going to be assigning me for my internship. So for the first day when I went to his office, he handed me a telephone directory. Now this telephone directory had almost 1,000 pages. I was very curious, and so he said, you need to total the entire telephone directory. This is your first lesson. There is no job that is big or small. You need to take pride in what you do. Dignity of labor is something which is very important. You cannot say that this job is not good. Whatever is assigned to you, you need to do it with complete honesty, integrity, sincerity. So these things are something very, very, very important in terms of when you start your career. I was not too serious about whatever I'm doing till a moment where everything changed for me.
So Esha, what motivated you to pursue the chartered accountancy, and how do you feel that really helped you during this entrepreneur journey aspiration of yours?
So I got even more curious. So I just went in and I heard my teacher saying that, I'm really worried about Esha. I really don't know what she's going to be doing. A lot of self-reflection, and I decided that I need to do something in life. I have to work very hard, work in terms of, structuring myself and coming out. And that's the reason, seeing my father run a consulting business, I decided to pursue chartered accountancy and, take my career to the next level. Yeah. Consulting is a people's business. He said running business versus leading people and becoming a good leader are two different things.
To some extent, you have been fortunate that you got the support of your father in this journey.
Yes.
But how do you feel being a woman entrepreneur? Did you face any challenges being a woman entrepreneur when you are setting your foot in a male-dominating industry?
I think it's my kids, so playing with my kids, spending time with my kids is my stress buster, yeah.
What do you think, how the landscape of accountancy and consulting has evolved over the career span of 20 years?
You need to understand how the market dynamics are. Opening a business is one thing, but being able to sustain that is something which is very important. A lot of people I meet, they come in and then they, close their shop in 2 years and they say, because the market is very challenging. It is very challenging from a perspective because it's an expat market.
Right.
There are a lot of people who are here as expats. So unless you don't understand and you don't understand their culture and understand their sensitivity towards these cultures and market, it is very difficult to survive and thrive your business in UAE.
So we have a very amazing guest with us today, Esha D'Souza. And she is a lovely personality. Let's all welcome her on our show. Hi Esha, welcome on our show.
Hi Priyanka, thank you so much. And it is really pleasure coming to your show.
It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Same
as
here.
well.
Yeah.
So your journey started in your father's firm.
Yep.
And how did you say that those early experiences really helped you to shape your professional experience and the outlook?
So I started off in my father's firm when I was 17. It was initially an internship that, I requested from my father, with all my friends joining their father's businesses during summer after my board exams. So I requested my father that I would want to start, as an internship with him.
Right.
So one of the stories which has stayed with me, from that time on is, I was very excited that he has accepted me to join as an intern with him. So I started working on, had a lot of plans. Like a teenager, I was contemplating what project I will be working with him, which is the important customer that he's going to be assigning me for my internship. So for the first day when I went to his office, he handed me a telephone directory. Now this telephone directory had almost 1,000 pages. I was very curious, and, so he said, you need to total the entire telephone directory. I was perplexed and I was very, kind of completely shocked that this is the first task that I've been given to total a telephone directory. I asked him, you need me to just, total this entire telephone directory? He said, yes, you just have to total page by page. Take this paper and write it down. What is the total of this? Quite confused, very irritated, I stepped out of his office and I sat down. I asked around and anybody said, no, you just have to total this telephone directory. Very confused. I started very reluctantly that, at your first day as, you are hoping to do a lot of things and
fun activities,
meeting people or meeting customers, joining in a good kind of a customer meeting, nothing like that. And mine is just totaling a telephone directory. So at the end of the day, I went home and I started complaining, whinging and whining to my mom that, dad has given me just to total this entire telephone directory page by page. It's such a mundane task and I don't see anything coming out of it. So she said, maybe your dad wants your mental math to be good because you're starting, and it's accountancy. So maybe because of that. So I said, okay, now it made a bit of sense. So I went back next day with full, energy, and I started doing it very diligently and kept on totaling it. Then he came to me during the day and he asked me, how is it going? So I said, I'm trying my best. It's taking a lot of time because it has to be total and I'm doing, I'm used to using a calculator and here I'm not using anything. He was like, use a calculator. Why are you not using a calculator? I was again shocked. So I said, okay. So I started, went back to using a calculator, very irritated and, very disheartened, what's happening in my first week of the job that am I doing. At the end of the week, dad called me inside his cabin and asked me, how is it going? I said, I still have, a couple of pages left. He could see the irritation and frustration on my face. So he asked me, are you not happy with what you're doing? I said, I was hoping to do something better. So he told me, this is your first lesson. There is no job that is big or small. You need to take pride in what you do. Dignity of labor is something which is very important. You cannot say that this job is not good. Whatever is assigned to you, you need to do it with complete honesty, integrity, sincerity. So these things are something very, very, very important in terms of when you start your career. Working with my dad and this first week lesson has stayed with me for the rest of my life. So whenever something is given to me, I do it with, complete passion. And I do remind myself, there's been times when I was asked to work on real estate projects or do various different things. But the lesson went back to me that no work that has been given to you is big or small. Absolutely. You need to have that kind of dignity of labor in whatever you're doing and do your best in every situation that is put into you.
So, Esha, what motivated you to pursue the chartered accountancy and how do you feel that really helped you during this entrepreneur journey aspiration of yours?
For me, I always knew that I wanted to, that entrepreneurship, I think, came to me, from very early on in life. I've seen my father run a consulting firm. So I always knew that I would become an entrepreneur. So that was inbuilt in me. But like every other, kid coming in from a middle class to an upper middle class family, you are so comfortable in your life. Absolutely. You're so relaxed that you don't have that kind of huge aspiration of fire, within you that you want to do something in life. Similar case, I was very comfortable. I was very happy-go-lucky and I was very chilled in whatever I was doing. Something completely changed for me, So one of the days when I was in school, you have this. We were finishing our semester, and I was doing my board exams that year. So during my semester break, just before my semester break, we had something called as a zero period. In that period, typically the teachers, you would get an off period. You could do whatever you want, and you could go back to your teachers and ask for doubts. Being myself, I was out, doing everything else but studying. So just before the school, this bell would ring, I came into my class just to collect my bag. So when I was coming to pack up for leaving home happily, I saw this group of kids, being surrounded, around the teacher, and they were having some chat. They were chatting about something, and there was a lot of giggling and laughing noises coming in. So out of curiosity, I was not somebody who would go to the teacher, ask any doubts or difficulties about the course or what we were doing, about math, science, nothing like that. Out of curiosity, I just stepped in to check what is going on and what is the fuss all about. So when I stepped in, I heard my name. So I got even more curious. So I just went in and I heard my teacher saying that, I'm really worried about Esha. I really don't know what she's going to be doing. And she is somebody, I'm very worried about how she's going to, tackle her life and what she's going to do in her life. And she is, like a black-headed blonde. And for that, everybody started giggling and laughing. That point changed completely my life. It was that moment that, everything changed around me. I felt extremely ashamed, embarrassed, and, felt that this is what my class or my teacher thinks about me. The next day, I never went to school. But that moment, had a lot of self-reflection, and I decided that I need to do something in life. I have to work very hard, work in terms of, structuring myself and coming out. And that's the reason, seeing my father run a consulting business, I decided to pursue chartered accountancy and, take my career to the next level. Yeah.
And what inspired you actually to transition to take this transition from after working in couple of big firms
Yeah.
and then starting your own venture?
For me, it was the other way around. So I was running my dad's audit business. I started off with him when I was 17. And since then, I was working with him. So, I became a very good businesswoman, I can say. But one thing my father kept on reminding me was that consulting is a people's business. He said running business versus leading people and becoming a good leader are two different things. So he and I would have this constant, kind of clash in terms of the way we were managing people. So for me, my father kept on mentioning that, see, it is in consulting, you need to lead people. That can be only possible if you are a good leader.
Right.
And that is something that lacked in me at that point of time. So it was a conscious decision, and, wherein I moved from running a business to started working in international audit firms. I took this journey to become a better leader, to understand, because my father came in from a background where he was working and then he started his consulting firm. So he had the complete, spectrum, and he understood how the entire business, and in consulting, he was very, very, conscious about how he manages his people. But that didn't come to me naturally, though I was working with him and he had trained me. You can train a lot of things, but you can't train to become a good leader.
Right.
To become a good leader, either you have to be born leader or you need to take that journey to become a good leader. So then I consciously took that journey wherein I started working with some of the leading audit firms in various regions like Singapore, Qatar, and UAE. I learned a lot in that. So when at that time the most important thing for me is to learn the techniques, how businesses are run in large scale, how globally audit firms are being managed. So once I was, I thought I felt that I was ready, to take up on my own entrepreneur journey, is when I moved on, and started my own consulting firm in UAE.
So I think I would say that to some extent you have been fortunate that you got the support of your father in this journey.
Yes.
But how do you feel being a woman entrepreneur? Did you face any challenges being a woman entrepreneur when you are setting your foot in a male dominating industry?
I can, as Priyanka, you rightly mentioned, I've been very fortunate. I had the kind of support from my father throughout my journey. And he was somebody who, keep correcting me in the entire journey from an entrepreneur perspective. But then, like any industry, when you start in, consulting is a very male dominated industry globally. And it is not anything different when it comes to UAE as well, right? So it's very, very male dominating. But I have been very fortunate where I received a lot of support in the market when I started my consulting journey. A lot of my customers, where I was, who moved on to me very quickly. So I had a lot of support. But keeping that in mind, there is also a lot of challenges as a woman, right? Because they take you on face value. Whenever I step into a meeting, a lot of times people, assume that I'm from a business development role, right? Then I'm a CEO and I am leading the entire organization. So people do take you on face value, especially being a woman, right? So there is that kind of a challenge that you constantly have to navigate yourself through. So I constantly get that kind of challenge when in UAE. With that, I have also seen there are a lot of times when I was asked to firefight, where projects were completely in shambles and, there was a lot of mess that was done. And I was put in forefront, to manage the project. And, I managed the entire project, fought the complete project, got it to it, and, did a very good board meeting and completed everything. But after that, I've even got responses where, my peers have said, it's because you're a woman, you can get away even if you make mistakes, right?
Okay.
So, not the fact that I project managed it beautifully and navigated myself and the project and delivered a good report and a good I delivered everything. There are times that they do say that it is because you're a woman. Even if you're making mistakes, you can get away with a smile, right? So that is kind of reaction you do get. But then again, it is how you react to these situations, and that's how defines who you become in any situation.
No, I think you really touched upon a very important point here. Yes. And I think me, myself, being into the business development and sales almost for 15, 16 years, face such questions, these experience a lot in the past. But let's jump back to the discussion again. So we have curated a couple of questions, kind of a rapid fire questions.
Okay.
It's going to be quick.
Okay.
Just give the answer without giving any second thought, whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
So, what's the one word that defines your journey so far?
For me, it would be perseverance.
Nice. A book that has inspired you the most?
The Secret.
Nice. Okay. What's your go-to stress buster after a long day?
I think it's my kids, so
Okay.
playing with my kids, spending time with my kids is my stress buster. Yeah.
And what's your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur?
Being an entrepreneur, this journey has taught me a lot, but I feel I'm much in control. The decisions that I take for me and for my organization, I have much better control than when I was working with any other organization.
Okay. So, if you'll get an opportunity to have a dinner with any leader,
Yeah.
past or present, who would it be?
For me, I would definitely, present, it would be Sheikh Mohammed. He's a very, very visionary leader, and I really look up to him. He has completely transformed Dubai, from what it was to what it is. So he would be a person I would love to have a dinner with. Yes.
Okay. And describe your journey in one emoji.
That is a tough one. I think the emoji with hearts, So it's been there has been ups and downs, but I just love what I'm doing, and I'm so fortunate that I'm getting to what I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your skill you are currently working on improving?
My skill that I'm currently working on improving is
it's a rapid fire.
Okay. So I'm really working on improving my technical skills. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what is that one compliment you have received as a professional?
So this is, again, I don't know if it's a compliment, but there are situations where, things get very messy. And somebody told me that, your $1 million smile, even if it's the most difficult situation,
I can see that.
can get you out of the situation. So when things are really going south, I would just take a pause and smile at whoever is in front of me, and, things would get better. So my smile, I would say, is my...
Nice. And what is your productivity hack?
For me, from a productivity hack perspective, I don't like to go in for long working hours. For me, I something called as a brain dumping, which I think you're aware of. You know, I do a lot of brain dumping right in the morning, and especially on Sunday afternoon for the whole week. Whatever has to be done, I use the brain dumping methodology. And I implement it in my organization as well. That helps me to be very, very productive.
That's nice. This is the last one.
Yeah.
What's one myth about consulting you wish people should stop believing?
Consulting, people think, it's a business. Consulting is, we are professionals, we are providing services. So we have to be very, very careful of what kind of advice we provide. It can make people's business or, break people's business. So understanding that consulting is a profession and you need to be very diligent in whatever advice you're giving. Plus, it is a people's business. So something which is very important is how you drive your people, how you drive your team. So you have to become a good leader to run a consulting firm. Just, being a good owner or a good entrepreneur would not help. Very important is to understand that it's a people's business and you need to focus on your people.
Right. So let's jump back to our questions again. And I have this question, like, how do you maintain the balance between technical expertise and the leadership skills in your organization?
For me, I'm running an organization which has got various verticals. And for me to be updated, I have a 3-way strategy wherein I have weekly meetings with my team members, especially the team leaders. We call this an operating rhythm. So every Friday, I meet with them for half an hour, every vertical, and try to brainstorm with them what is happening in current customers, what is the current market trends, what are the regulatory changes that has come in, and, follow through that. That's how I get updated about the nuances in the regulation, the changes that are happening, any public clarifications that have come into the market. That's one strategy that I, do it. Other than that, I've got a lot of friends and, my friends who are currently working in Big Four and various large audit firms in the region. We do have catch-up meetings, over a coffee, and, we keep catching up about what are the changes, how things are working out, what's working out, what is there any kind of hack that you have, how do you become better as an organization. So we meet very often. So it's my organization, my team members, my friends, and the last is regulators. I try to make a conscious effort in terms of meeting a lot of regulators and, networking with them, trying to understand how I can improve and what are the changes that are happening in the region, and if that I can get some edge over that. Yeah.
And what do you think, like how the landscape of accountancy and consulting has evolved over the career span of 20 years for you?
So, 20 years, I have worked. I can say I was very fortunate to work in different regions, right? From India to Singapore to Middle East, right? So, they've been very contrasting regions, and the maturity in every region has been very different. So, as you know, regulations in UAE has been, just being evolved. The landscape is completely changing.
Right.
From having no taxes to having no regulatory compliance to becoming a very regulated market. So it's going towards that kind of a maturity. So it has helped me because I came in from markets which were extremely matured, which had taxes for 50 years, 60 years. So that kind of experience helped me come up with best practices and, help my customers in terms of aligning with these best practices and benchmarking of what are the ways of doing it. So that helped me a lot in terms of my experience working in different geographies.
So, Isha, can you share some suggestions or the ideas, like what kind of struggles the consultants face during their tenure?
It is something what I have realized. A lot of consulting firms start their start their operations in UAE without having an understanding about the market. This market is very sensitive. You need to understand how the market dynamics are. Opening a business is one thing, but being able to sustain that is something which is very important. A lot of people I meet, they come in and then they close their shop in 2 years, and they say because the market is it is very challenging from a perspective because it's an expat market.
Right.
There are a lot of people who are here as expats. So unless you don't understand and you don't understand their culture and understand their sensitivity towards these cultures and market, it is very difficult to survive and thrive your business in UAE.
So, Isha, what does it mean to you to be named as one of the top 10 women leaders in UAE?
It gave me a lot of joy and pride, and I was very humbled. For me, more than that, it is about my daughters, who were extremely proud about their mum being named this, because I want them to understand and become very strong women leaders in the market in future. So that is something gave me a lot of joy. The whole, about this.
That's lovely, actually.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about your personal life. Being a mom, it
Yeah.
is never easy to manage everything, personal
Yes.
life, professional life, who all are there in your family, and how do you manage everything?
So for me, I have my 2 daughters and my husband. My 2 daughters are, pre-teens now. So they are that age that they understand what I'm doing, and and they take a lot of pride in what I'm doing and how I'm executing and how I've become a role model for them. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, what role does mentorship play in your life, and how do you give back to the next generation of professionals?
For me, I see whatever I am today is because of a lot of mentors that came in my life, right from my father, who was the initial mentor and who has been my anchor mentor for all these years. With that, I had a lot of mentors that came in, and they have given me a lot in terms of giving me complete a different mindset, right? For me, I used to be very aggressive and, very ambitious, but with that, I was extremely hyper of what I wanted to do. So one of my mentors, also, once, sat me down and said, Isha, if you need to understand one thing very importantly in life, if you want to win the complete war, you have to let go of battles. Every battle is not supposed to be fought. You have to let go of battles. You have to have that kind of maturity that I pick and choose my battle, which I need to fight. So that gave me a lot of, perspective and visibility of how as a leader I need to evolve, So the complete journey has helped me evolve to a different person than I am, what I used to be. Similarly, I would want to give back, right? So I have a strategy wherein I sit down with my team members one-to-one and have discussions with them very frequently, help them understand, the gaps or the things that they're doing wrong and how they need to improve. Because only when we have that kind of discussion with the team members, a very kind of open discussion saying that, okay, this is your strength and this is your weakness. You need to work on both of them, to improve as an individual. So I take this mentorship very seriously, because I've been very fortunate to have some great mentors in my life as well.
And I think that is a wonderful advice. And whosoever is listening, it's really going to help them a lot.
Yes.
Because you cannot pick everything.
Yes.
Because you have to choose your battles very carefully, as rightly mentioned by you.
Yeah.
So what legacy do you hope to leave behind as a leader in your industry?
For me as a leader, what I really feel is it is something that how you treat people. It is something which is paramount for me. Even as an organization, it is something that how you treat your people, right from my office lady to my partner. I really want people to understand that we all are here for a very short time. In that it doesn't, what laurels you bring or what business you do, or something which is very important is how do you treat people. That is something very important to me. That's a legacy that I would like to leave here.
And if you get a chance to go back and give an advice to your younger self, what it would be?
For my younger self, to be very honest, whatever I am, it's because of all the learnings that I've had. It's the mistakes that I have made, and that has, defined who I have become as an individual. So I wouldn't like to go and give an advice, because I think each one of us have to go through that journey of ups and downs of, learning to be evolved as a person and, to become what we are today. So for me, it would be, there wouldn't be an advice. I would let myself go through that kind of a journey and, learn through mistakes and evolve as a person.
I think it was really wonderful. I mean, whatever you have mentioned, everything is really the piece of advices. They all are gem for us or everyone who's listening. So this is just a last question for you.
Yeah.
Is there any message which you would like to give to the people, especially to the females, those who are managing everything, work, life, kids, everything?
For me, what I, as a message to a lot of women who are, for me, I took a career break couple of times in my career. I had kids, I got married, I had kids. So every time I took a career break when I was coming back to the workforce, it was not easy. It was very challenging, right? With children, with family, it is not easy. But you need to work on creating an ecosystem around you with your family, with your friends who are going to be supporting you, even because there's going to be times for women that, you can't make it. Like there are times when I can't make it to my child's parent-teacher meeting because I have another board meeting coming up. But at the time, if you have an ecosystem where you have a friend, where you have a sister or you have a brother who can always pitch in for you, maybe your husband who can pitch in for you and take up that additional responsibility and help you. So something which is very important for women who are going and working is you need to create an ecosystem around you. You can't do it all by yourself. You need to be vocal about the help that you need, and you need to have no shame in saying, yes, I need help. I need to get this done. Can you please help me? Can you please pitch in? My daughter is, there has been times when there's been board meetings and I need to leave, but I have my sister who I just call away and she's going to pitch in and stay with my daughter when I am presenting this report to a board meeting. So, you need to create that kind of ecosystem around yourself.
Well, I think this is really important.
Yes.
Because again, it comes to the same thing. You have to pick your battles very carefully.
Pick and choose your battles very carefully.
Yes. So thank you so much, Esha. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much.
You have touched upon really wonderful points and everything was really important for the auditing firm, for a consultancy point of view, as a women entrepreneur who is managing family work, everything. It's a pleasure to have you here on our show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. It's been completely my pleasure as well. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
Likewise. Thank you.